October 20th, 1977, a date forever etched in rock history. The legendary southern rock band Lynyrd Skynyrd was on top of the world, but as their fame soared, tragedy struck. On a routine flight to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, their plane crashed in the swamps of Mississippi, where 6 lives were tragically lost. Despite the devastating loss, the legacy of Lynyrd Skynyrd lives on. Their music, their story, and their spirit continue to influence generations of rock bands worldwide. Lynyrd Skynyrd had been touring heavily throughout the 1970s, gaining immense popularity for hits like Sweet Home Alabama and Freebird. By the fall of 1977, the band was traveling on an older 1940s-era Convair 240 plane. There had been concerns raised by the band and crew about the plane's safety, as it had experienced mechanical issues on prior flights. Aerosmith had actually passed on leasing the same plane due to concerns over its condition and crew. Despite the warnings, the band's management decided to continue using the plane for its tours. On October 20th, after a concert in Greenville, South Carolina, the band boarded the aircraft, heading for Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where they were scheduled to perform next. Despite the warnings, the band's management decided to continue using the plane for its tours. On October 20th, after a concert in Greenville, South Carolina, the band boarded the aircraft, heading for Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where they were scheduled to perform next. Midway through the flight, the plane began experiencing serious fuel-related issues. Reports later revealed that the pilots, Walter McCreary and William Gray, were aware they were running low on fuel but continued the flight. As the fuel levels became critically low, the pilots made an emergency call and attempted to land at a small airport near Macomb, Mississippi. However, the plane ran out of fuel and was unable to reach the airstrip. The aircraft crash-landed in a swampy, wooded area near Galesburg, Mississippi. The impact was devastating. The fuselage tore apart as the plane hit the trees, and debris was scattered across the area. Ronnie Van Zant, Steve Gaines, Casey Gaines, Dean Kilpatrick, and the 2 pilots were killed on impact. Other band members, including guitarist Gary Rosington, drummer Artemis Pyle, and guitarist Alan Collins, survived, but sustained serious injuries. The crash was a massive shock to the music world, particularly because they are at the peak of their fame. Their album Street Survivors had just been released, and it eerily depicted flames surrounding the band members on the cover. Out of respect for the deceased, the album cover was changed after the crash. The surviving members of the band were physically and emotionally scarred. For years, the band went on an extended hiatus, with some members pursuing solo careers or performing other projects. In 1987, 10 years after the crash, Lynyrd Skynyrd reunited, with Ronnie Van Zant's younger brother Johnny Van Zant taking over lead vocals. The crash has become an integral part of rock lore, symbolizing both the height of their success and the fragility of life. The band's music remains beloved, and they continue to perform today, with Johnny Van Zant fronting the group. The National Transportation Safety Board conducted an investigation into the crash. It was concluded that the cause of the crash was fuel exhaustion and the crew's failure to ensure adequate fuel supply for the flight. The report criticized the pilots for not refueling, although it was also suggested that the plane's old age and maintenance issues contributed to the tragedy. In the decades following the crash, survivors have often spoken about the harrowing moments during the plane's descent. Drummer Artemis Pyle, who managed to walk to a nearby farm to get help after the crash, has frequently recounted the terrifying last moments on board. There has also been tension among surviving members and the families of those who perished over the years, particularly around the band's reunion tours and the use of the band's name. This plane crash of 1977 not only marked a devastating moment in rock history, it also became a defining moment in the legacy of the band. Despite the tragedy, their music continues to influence and inspire generations of rock bands. The surviving members' decision to continue performing under the Lynyrd Skynyrd name keeps the spirit of the original band alive, even as they honor the memory of the lost in the crash. This plane crash of 1977 not only marked a devastating moment in rock history, but also became a defining moment in the legacy of the band. Despite the tragedy, their music continues to influence and inspire generations of rock fans. The surviving members' decision to continue performing under the Lynyrd Skynyrd name keeps the spirit of the original band alive, even as they honor the memory of those lost in the crash. So that's it for this one. Thanks for hanging out, and until next time, see ya!